Hello Super Sentai fans and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today I am very excited to be taking a look at the deluxe GokaiTsuika Unit from Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger. Kind of. It's more actually from the Twokaiser vs. Gokaiger Special that was released on TTFC last summer. That is where this is from. That is what this is for. And I absolutely love this thing. So this thing is so cool. So it is not officially acknowledged as like a Memorial Edition item. However, as I'm going to go ahead and bring in right here, it is meant specifically to work with the Memorial Edition GokaiCellular that we took a look at back in September, October-ish. And of course the boxes are incredibly similar as well. We'll go ahead and zoom out for that. They are very similar boxes. They feature the same kind of like design and stuff at the top, except this just obviously doesn't say Memorial Edition. They kind of form like a big picture there when you kind of have them lined up, so you have all the 6 Ranger keys that are included between the two products, which looks really cool. So they definitely complement each other quite a bit, and as you can see on the other side, one has the Cellular, one with the Tsuiker Unit, so they follow the same very similar setup here. So this is an add-on item for the Memorial Edition GokaiCellular that gives you the Tsuiker Unit, which is this new adapter piece that adds the 6 Rangers from Go Busters all the way through Zenkaiger, which of course means it's already out of date. There is no Don Goku or Torbolt on here from Don Brothers. There's no Kinoger stuff on here or anything like that. And while the Cellular itself did have that one Gai phrase talking about Don Brothers, there still is nothing for Goku or anything, even though he does have a Ranger key. That will be in the next video review after this, which is the Don Brothers and Anniversary Ranger key set. But this came out in January 2023 on Premium Bandai, and of course I got mine from Toku Electables. So I love this thing. It's a ton of fun already. I've already been kind of playing around with it to kind of learn everything you can do for the review, because there is a lot to go over here. So in this set, you're going to get, of course, the Tsuiker Unit, and you're going to get 6 brand new Ranger keys, which I'll zoom in on right there. These are the first and so far only release of the 6 Ranger keys from ZyuohTheWorld through KirameiSilver. Of course, Twokaiser, which is a very important key to have for the Tsuiker units, is not included here because that was included with the Memorial Edition GokaiCellular. So in here you get ZyuohTheWorld, you get HououSoldier, LupinX, PatrenX, RyusoulGold, and KirameiSilver. So 7 Ranger keys technically, 6 actual Ranger keys, and then I still consider the Tsuiker unit to kind of be its own Ranger key, but let's go ahead and open this up and take a look at what we have in this set. So here is everything you get out of the box from the GokaiTsuika Unit. So of course you have the unit piece itself, 6 Ranger keys, and this stand adapter piece, which we'll get into in a little bit here. So basically there's a lot to cover here, a lot to cover with what this does with the Cellular, a lot to cover with the Ranger keys. So we're just going to kind of divide this video up into little sections here to make sure I can cover everything, because I want to be as thorough with this as I possibly can here. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the 6 Ranger keys here. We're going to take a look at each of them here individually really quickly to kind of get them a good look at each of them, because they are, I wouldn't say like the stars of the set, because obviously the unit itself is a really cool adapter piece that adds a lot of functionality to the Cellular, but these are brand new Ranger keys, which is the only like 3rd time that this has happened for all these Memorial Edition stuff, following the After Gokai set gave us brand new Ranger keys, and of course Twokaiser's key was brand new with the Cellular itself. But these finally add some more team members to the post-Ninja teams, which is when Ranger keys initially stopped, and I'm so happy to have these here. So I would still love to get full teams, besides just Reds and 6ths from all the post-Ninja teams, but we're getting there, so I can definitely appreciate that. So first up here we have ZyuohTheWorld, which just looks gorgeous. I mean, this is probably one of my all-time favorite 6 Ranger designs anyway, and I think they captured it in key form just perfectly. I mean, look at the helmet there. You got the crocodile, rhino, and wolf, which look really good. I love this a ton. So of course, since these are Memorial keys, they do have the auto flip feature. And there's the ZyuohTheWorld logo, which just like ZyuohEagle, it's on a gray background, which is a little bit different than how keys would typically kind of be, but you have that nonetheless. Now, of course, all of these are going to work in the Memorial Edition Mobirates. They're going to say, ZyuohTheWorld, Kyuranger, stuff like that, respectively, which I'll show that off later on in the video, because like I said, we have a lot to cover. So here is HououSoldier, which once again looks really good as well. I love the Kyuranger designs, and I never thought we would get them as Ranger keys, and to have at least 2 of them here is really good. And just like they did with Abataro gears, giving one to HououSoldier, this once again reinforces the fact that HououSoldier is the true 6th Ranger of Kyuranger. It is not KirameiSilver, it is not Ryu Commander, it is HououSoldier. And I think they did a really good job capturing the Phoenix there, capturing the whole kind of Kyutama look of his head. Like, I mean, you still even have like the collar piece there, which just looks really good. Maybe it's a little too bright of a blue. I guess this suit has always kind of been a very dark, like navy-ish kind of color. But I do really like how this looks quite a bit. And of course, there is the Kyuranger logo in his key. And it looks very good. So it's kind of interesting because like these keys technically don't need to exist because the cellular can just do the sounds anyway, but nonetheless, it's still very fun to have it. So here is LupinX, which is extremely shiny, extremely pretty. I love this quite a bit. In fact, it's really cool because with Lupin Ranger and PatrenX, we actually have half of each of their respective teams, since each team was only 4 members each. But I think they just captured this look of this key so nice. I mean, gold and silvers in the Memorial Editions just look so pretty. I mean, I love this. This is just so good. Like, never thought we would get keys to these guys anymore. And look at that. Beautiful Silver Ranger key with the Lupin Ranger logo. It's absolutely perfect to me. So, once again, we actually have a second key for him because Noel was both silver and gold in that season. So here is his PatrenX form, which I also really like how the metallic paint turned out on this. I mean, both these suits are also some of my favorite Six Ranger suits. I think PatrenX, why do I keep saying PatrenX? PatrenX and LupinX are just really nice Six Ranger designs. Really cool idea from that season to have one character be, you know, the Six Ranger for both teams and kind of have the gold and the silver look. Good idea. Very fun. Next up, we have the only key in this set that's actually a Power Ranger, and that is RyusoulGold, or Dino Fury Gold as well. And I gotta be honest, I'm not a huge fan of how this key turned out. I think I get it, they really wouldn't paint the gold on the side there, but it just looks kind of strange how blue this key is. It still looks good, like helmet-wise. Very nice. The gold paint is also very nice, but honestly, my biggest complaint about this key is its key mode, and I said this very briefly, I think, in my Project Unlock episode. So his key mode has a blue RyusoulGold sticker, which if we ever get other RyusoulGold keys, which hopefully we will besides just red and gold, RyusoulBlue would have a Blue Ranger sticker here. And they've done keys before to where the sticker piece doesn't match the overall, you know, primary color of the key. So this should be a gold sticker or a yellow sticker in my opinion. And the fact that it isn't does actually kind of bother me. So it's a stupid complaint, but just, you know, with being such a Ranger key person, I kind of wish that they would make it kind of be consistent to other keys. But regardless, it still is an absolutely gorgeous key that if we ever get the rest of the team will look very nice and fit in very nicely. And now ironically, these two things are the only things that are actually canon to this set. The other 5 keys here are just toy line exclusive keys that I still just love that they exist anyway. But we finally have a toy release of the KirameiSilver Ranger key, which was kind of the one thing that sort of hinted that we would be getting GokaiCellular and silver related stuff in the Memorial line, because this key actually appeared in the 10 Gokaiger film. So we actually got to see this key in like 2021 when that film came out, and that at the time, for like a long period of time, for well over half a year, there was just no toy announcement for this key, and I'm so happy we finally got it. But, so what's really strange is that the KirameiSilver chest design, there's been shots of him, and I'll kind of show pictures here, there's shots of him where it looks like he has like a black sash, shots where it looks like he has like a silver sash, and the Ranger key prop actually looks like he has more of that black sash, but then the actual key itself has sort of that silver sash, which is just odd, but I mean, regardless, the key still looks perfect nonetheless. The orange and metallic blue that they got here looks fantastic. Love how they've done the KirameiSilver shoulder pads there. I think KirameiSilver just really works well as Ranger keys. They translate very nicely. And there's the KirameiSilver Ranger key piece there. So now very briefly, and I'm just going to kind of cut through all the clips here. Here are these 6 Ranger keys in, or these 6 Ranger keys in the Memorial Edition Mobirates. Okay, so now that we're done with those 6 Ranger keys for now, we can finally take a look at, however long into this video, the Tsuiker unit itself. So here is the GokaiTsuika Unit, which I love this thing. This is such a stupid, wacky design to, like, you know, just add more buttons to the bottom of the GokaiCellular, but it works so well. So as you can see here, it's just basically an adapter piece for the bottom of the cellular. It does have a Ranger key piece sticking out of it. Now, to be honest, I don't know what key piece that actually is. If you're curious, because I'm sure somebody will ask, you cannot fit this into a Mobirates. It just, I mean, you can fit it that far, but you can't get it far enough to actually turn it. So I have no idea what that key piece actually would be. I suppose, I was going to say you can maybe unscrew it, but they've kind of covered all the screw holes to kind of look like a nice Memorial Edition toy, but that's kind of going to be a mystery. But it is this kind of cool translucent blue plastic, which I think looks pretty nice. You can see right there is an infrared light, because the GokaiCellular Memorial Edition has an infrared scanner just like the Don Brothers toy line stuff does, and that's how this works, because these are clickable buttons, just like the Cellular itself, and basically this toy isn't on right now, but when it is on, when you click like, you know, KirameiSilver, it will light up and it will send a signal to the GokaiCellular and say, okay, we're doing Kirameiger sounds now, and it actually works pretty darn well, which I'm very happy about. So as you can see here, what this has added is the 6 Rangers from Go Busters through Zenkaiger. So we have Tokurokugo, Star Ninja, ZyuohTheWorld, RyusoulGold, Twokaiser, HououSoldier, Stagbuster, KirameiSilver, LupinX, Beatbuster, RyusoulGold, and PatrenX, which is really cool. Now, unfortunately, we do have Ranger keys for KirameiSilver, Beatbuster, Stagbuster, you know, Tokurokugo, Star Ninja. We have keys for all of those guys already. They came out a long time ago throughout different premium Bandai Ranger key sets. I'm fortunate enough to have those keys, and I will be showing them off later on when we're playing around with this thing. But those should have definitely had Memorial Edition keys in this set, I feel. I feel like you definitely could have had a 10 Ranger key set with this. It would have obviously made it a little bit more expensive, and I'm happy we at least got the keys that didn't exist before. But for a lot of people, I know, like getting KirameiSilver or getting Tokurokugo or Star Ninja, since those 3 are premium exclusive keys before, would be very difficult. And I'm not going to rule out the possibility that we could still get those keys somehow, because they have been making a bunch of key sets even after this, because of that, we're actually getting Memorial Edition versions of Beat and Stagbuster, or we have, because I already have that key set. I'm not going to be using those ones here today, but it could still happen. So if you're wondering, there is no key piece at the bottom of this, so when you slot this into the bottom of the GokaiCellular, it will no longer allow you to continue to add on to it. So we won't be able to add another Tsuiker units in 10 years, which is kind of unfortunate, but I do like it a lot. It blends in with the GokaiCellular very nicely, and for the longest time I couldn't figure out how you did anything with this. So this actually does take batteries, so it is our second electronic Ranger key. It doesn't make noises on its own, but it does just make that infrared light scanner thing. So this is our second electronic Ranger key, following the Gokai Galleon key from 10 Gokaiger. So basically, back here, and the batteries are included, you just have to pry off that battery compartment. And then back here, there's 3 LR44s, like I said, are included. Then you get this tab in there. And there's not going to be any kind of activation sound or anything like that. And I'm not going to pull the tab just yet, because I want to show what it does if you don't technically turn the toy on, even though there is no on or off switch on this thing. Now I'm going to go ahead and zoom out here, and then zoom back in, so we can kind of get to this range. So before I even bring out the Memorial Edition GokaiCellular, which I grabbed the wrong one, here is the original deluxe GokaiCellular from 2011. As you can see, it has the big sticker thing there. It doesn't have the buttons for the music and the voice phrases. You can, if you wanted to, attach this to the original GokaiCellular. And of course, just like any Ranger key you put into the bottom of the original Cellular, it's just going to say GokaiSilver Gold Mode, and you could click buttons and stuff like that, but of course this toy doesn't have any idea what is happening here. And also the golds don't really match between the new one and the older one. They do match on the Memorial one, but if you wanted, just for like an aesthetic purposes or something, you can use the original GokaiCellular and connect this thing, but you're not going to be able to. It's kind of unfortunate, because I feel like if they would have somehow worked the electronics of the actual sounds into this adapter piece, then like technically you'd be able to still use this toy and get like every 6 Ranger sound out of it, but they just didn't do that. I don't know how they would have done it anyway. So if you have the original Cellular and you're hoping you could just buy the add-on and not get the Memorial Cellular, you can, but you're not really going to be able to do anything with it. Or if you just want to collect the Ranger keys, there's that as well. So wanted to go ahead and show that off. So there's that. Now also, this one is the Memorial Edition GokaiCellular. So if you don't take that pull tab out of here and basically turn the toy on, and you put it into the regular, or you put it into the Memorial Cellular, it actually won't activate Tsuiker mode. It actually will just do. it would just do that. Oh, still not done. So it will just do that. So it will just pretend like it's the gold anchor key if you don't have the infrared scanner telling it that it's not. And now that I think about it, actually, so let me bring in, I still have my gold anchor key in here. Is this just the key piece of the gold anchor key? Oh yeah, it definitely is. Okay, so it is just the key piece of the gold anchor key. So if you actually were able to put this into the GokaiCellular, or to the Mobirates, you would say the Gokaiger, you know, the kind of question version of it. So good to know. That makes perfect sense. So now, finally, let's actually use this toy. So there's a pretty good amount of stuff that we can do with this thing. Obviously, just besides, you know, turning into the different Rangers from Go Busters onward, there is the whole Twokaiser mode to this thing because of the TTFC Special. So what this will do is unlock voice phrases from Flint and Zox from Zenkaiger that are already programmed into this toy. And it's just kind of funny that all these sounds for these post-Gokaiger teams and Zenkaiger stuff has been in here the whole time, but you have not been able to unlock it unless you bought an add-on item, which is just kind of funny to think about. So real quick, the last thing to show off with this would be the stand. So here is the original GokaiCellular stand. They had the Gokaiger logo just like the Mobirates did, and it had this piece like that, and you could just take the cellular and just kind of rest it there, and it, you know, served a pretty good enough purpose. But when you're going to add in a giant brick to the bottom of this thing, that's not really going to work anymore. So thankfully, you can remove that piece, and the Tsuiker unit comes with this extended piece that you could just clip in the same way. It actually adds a little bit more of a brace to the back of that, which I kind of appreciate. And then, I should actually turn the toy on first. I guess it's a little difficult to kind of pry open that battery compartment, but you just take that pull tab out, close it back up, and then as you can see here, like I'm clicking Start Ninja, it's going to start lighting up that infrared scanner light there. And we're basically ready to go. So let's take the Memorial Edition GokaiCellular and the Tsuiker Unit Ranger Key. And we're ready to go. So let's now see how this goes. And look at that, it's already completely off camera. So let's kind of pan the camera up a little bit. So take a look at that thing, and we'll kind of zoom out fully so you can see it. That's wonderfully stupid. I love this. It's like just such a simple idea to upgrade a toy that never would have been upgraded before, but I really do like what they've done with this. Especially because like the yellow line, which we'll kind of zoom back in here, the yellow line like continues here, or maybe even zoom in all the way. But that yellow line like continues down the pattern there, and it kind of continues into the second keypad, and it actually just kind of feels a little natural. Like it works. I don't know how else to explain it. It's an interesting thing that they've done, and I really do like what they've done with it. So what this has added is a couple of different things. So we had the Gai transformation voice mode from the GokaiCellular, and that's kind of how we're going to get into the whole Twokaiser mode for this, because there is that separate mode and all that kind of stuff. So also what's cool about this is that what this has done is that this just becomes a new keypad, and it acts. So like that one, we'll kind of switch modes here. So we're not ready for that yet. Yeah, I think that mode works. So actually that might have just been what it was already. Okay, yeah, we're good. So when you kind of have it in the code mode, where you were able to like, you know, type in the codes of the original cellular keypad, this keypad now fully functions as that. So like if you know the 2 button down here is going to be the same thing as the 2 button up there. So I think, if I remember correctly, if you click like RyusoulGold, and I haven't actually tested this out, but like if you wanted to summon Gojujin, right, or Goju Drill, you would click Time Fire 3 times and then go say Night. So now if we click RyusoulGold 3 times, so now you can summon Goju Drill like using RyusoulGold, which is just kind of an interesting, fascinating thing there. So because of that, what the Tsuiker unit, the first kind of thing that it's done is it hasn't added any new codes, but it has added an additional sound to a code. And that is, I believe, I want to say it's 422, so special mode. In the original GokaiCellular would just name all the 6 Rangers up there. But now, with the Tsuiker unit attached, special mode is going to name all of those, and keep going for all of this. So this is going to take a second, but I will see you guys at the end of this one. And there we go. So that is special mode, which I should have, if I did the editing with this all correctly, you should have been seeing a nice pan of all the 6 ranger keys, because I now have all of them after this, and I figured, you know, might as well line them all up into a cool shot somewhere in this video. So hopefully that worked out well, and you saw that, and it wasn't just this, you know, sitting here making noise for like a solid like minute. So really cool feature there. I like that quite a bit. Now the next mode, or the next additional sounds that they've added in here, is that there was that mode from different Gai Phrases where he's like, let's use, you know, Zyuohranger's power, or let's use the power of this or whatever, and those are a bunch of different phrases from the show. And what they've added is they've added, you know, randomized basically Gai Phrases for Go Busters through, I think, KirameiSilver. I think that was all of the ones they had in there, but I do believe that it's randomized how you get those sounds. So I think, if I remember correctly, that would be not that mode. Is it that mode? No. Yeah, okay. It's this mode. So basically when you click this button, like he just said, you know, let's use Time Ranger's power, there will be new phrases for Go Busters onward. So I'm going to try to just keep clicking it till we get them all, at least until I think we got them all, and then I'm going to kind of cut throughout the video and, you know, play them all.
It's morphing time! Go Busters でいきましょう。皆さん、恐竜ジャーでいきましょう。ブレイブだぜ。溢れるイマジネーション、特急ジャーでいきましょう。皆さん、忍ぶどころかド派手に暴れましょう。ここは本能覚醒でいきましょう。皆さん、星座の力で星座チェンジです。ルパンレンジャーでお宝いただいちゃいましょう。ここはパトレンジャーで実力を行使しましょう。正義に使えるケラカキ魂、竜装ジャーでいきましょう。皆さんここはキラッと三条カラッと解決なんてどうでしょう。ここは全力全開で決めましょう。
Okay, so I think that's finally all of them, and that took a really good amount of time to actually get all of those. There was a lot of randomizing there, but I should have hopefully put them in order from Go Busters through Zenkaiger. Hopefully I did get them all. But it is a really cool feature that they've added that in there. So now, what's basically left is Transformation Mode and Twokaiser Mode. So let's go ahead and get into kind of the generic mode, which I think this would already work. Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and just turn that off. Well, music is starting, so there we go. So now we're just in the regular transformation mode here, and that is where I'm going to bring in the sack of 6th Ranger keys. So I'm going to go ahead and dig out Beatbuster through Start Ninja, and let's get going. Okay, so we have the 5 6 Ranger keys that are not included in this that are post Gokaiger. So we have the 2 retail release ones and the 3 premium Bandai exclusive ones. So reminder, these 5 keys are not part of this set. You don't technically even need them, but of course they are fun to have if you want to kind of, you know, do this quote unquote properly. So I'm going to kind of pan up a little bit more so you can kind of see everything we got going on here, and we're going to go ahead and start with Beatbuster from Go Busters. You know, one thing that's actually kind of disappointing is that what they probably should have done was just include Beat and Stagbuster on one key number, just like they did with the Go On Wings, because then you could have freed one of these up and put Don Jirgoku on there, which would have been really cool, but alas, they did not do that, unfortunately. But it could have been a good idea, because Stagbuster, of course, is going to be very similar to Beat. And the 2 of those keys were of course released during Go Busters in deluxe key sets. Then from 2013's premium Bandai exclusive Kyoryuger Ranger key set, we got RyusoulGold. So we'll go ahead and put him in there. And he's number, where is he? He's number 4. Released in 2016's Ranger Key Set Rainbow Edition was Toku Rokugo from Twokaiser. And then from 2017's Ranger Key Set 2000th Edition, we had Star Ninja, which at the time was the final Ranger Key Set that we had for nearly 5 years, which was a dark period of time. But we finally have all this really cool stuff now. So the first of the brand new keys, of course, is ZyuohTheWorld. Then we have HououSoldier. Lupin Ranger, of course, is next. And then Pato Ranger. See, Lupin Ranger and Pato Ranger make sense to be separate due to the fact that, you know, they have to have separate team names, but I still think Beat and Stag should have been one key press, but that's just my personal opinion. RyusoulGold is next. And then last but not least, from the new keys from this particular release, we have KirameiSilver. But we aren't done yet. Of course, we have the Twokaiser Ranger key from the original GokaiCellular Memorial Edition release. Now, of course, there is the whole Twokaiser mode in this toy, which I'm going to be getting into right after this. But if you're just in regular transformation mode, and you put the Twokaiser key in there, and click Twokaiser's button, it will just say Zenkaiger and not do anything special for Twokaiser. However, there is Twokaiser mode in here, so now let's finally go ahead and get into that. Okay, so the final mode in this toy is the Twokaiser or Twokaiser Flint mode that we have in here, or the female Flint version of Twokaiser, the mode from the TTFC Special. So this is where all the Zox and Flint phrases come from, and where the whole point of this toy's release, or the whole thing that they marketed this toy with, actually finally happens, and gives you the kind of, you know, canon proper use of the Twokaiser Ranger key. So to get to that mode, you of course have to attach the Tsuiker unit, and then there's going to be a new mode when we hold down this button. So that is the mode, or that's the voice phrase that Guy said to Flint, and basically what we're going to get here now is we're going to keep clicking that button, and you're going to get basically the whole phone conversation, because essentially Zox borrowed Marvelous's Mobirates and called Flint on the GokaiCellular to tell her to use the Twokaiser power, and then he gave Marvelous his Sentai gear, which turned into the Twokaiser Ranger key, and then using the teleporting power of the Gokai buckle, Marvelous was able to send this key to Guy, and then Flint used it to transform into Twokaiser with the GokaiCellular. And the entire sentence and phrase and just story that I just told is one of the coolest things that I think that they've ever done, because that is like combining like some of my all-time favorite characters and gimmicks all into like one little story there, and I absolutely adore that. So here's the whole phone conversation that we had in the special. So that is Zox calling the GokaiCellular. And that's of course the sound of the cellular opening up, which there we go. So then we put the key inside, or maybe she put it in there before it, but you know, somewhere around this we put the key in. And then from there, you click the button. And it's just going to keep going until you click the button at the top, just like you would for any other transformation. And you get those battle noises, just like the original toy had, or the original modes had. So that is really cool. You get the full Twokaiser transformation sequence using the Tsuika Flint mode, or, well, Tsuika Flint is lifting from the stage show, but using the Flint version of Twokaiser mode, it's so much fun. It gives you a proper use for the Twokaiser Ranger Key, and the fact that, you know, the Cellular, the Mobirates, and the Gear were voiced by the same person. It's just really cool to have that Twokaiser transformation, the transformation sound programmed into this toy. It just is so much fun. So that is finally it. That is everything, I believe, unless I missed something, that you can do with the GokaiTsuika Unit. Now, one thing I'll say before I just kind of do my final thoughts, my only complaint about this, and it wasn't too bad just having it on the stand the whole video review, is that, you know, holding it like this, obviously if you're trying to do the whole Twokaiser dance, this can kind of become loose very easily like that. As you saw, I barely gave it any kind of force. I mean, I obviously detaches it completely, but it's also very easy to detach it, but sometimes it comes a little loose, and that is kind of a problem because, you know, the idea is that you're going to be able to hold the thing like this, and that's going to do it every time, but the idea is you'll be able to hold it like this and, you know, click buttons, and then still, of course, use the toy. Of course, I guess the more idea is that you click it with this hand, and then, activate stuff there. But, you know, it's still a really, really cool toy. It's a really neat idea to upgrade this thing. And let's just kind of get a nicer look at it attached to the Memorial Edition GokaiCellular. And now we can do everything that we saw in the TTFC Special. And it's just such a really, really cool adapter piece. I absolutely love this thing and the keys that it comes with. And with that, that is going to do it for my pretty long here video review of the GokaiTsuika Unit from technically Zenkaiger, Gokaiger, whatever you want to classify it under. I cannot recommend this enough. I mean, the fact that it comes with exclusive brand new Ranger keys, it adds a really, really fun functionality to a GokaiCellular, specifically the Memorial Edition. I think it's definitely between the Memorial Edition and this one, this little adapter, have made this 6 Ranger changer very comprehensive. I mean, you still don't technically even need Ranger keys at all. You can still just play around with this thing just with the Cellular and the Tsuiker unit itself. But the fact that we have these beautiful 6 Ranger keys, they turned out gorgeously with the metallic paint, and they captured the look of these suits very nicely for the 5 keys that are not canon and the one that is canon. And I love this so much. Hopefully we can get Memorial Editions for the other keys that are harder to get to go with this thing. But I cannot recommend this enough if you are a Ranger key collector, a Zox fan, Flint fan, Twokaiser fan, you know, GokaiSilver fan, Gokaiger fan. There's just so many fans that this would appeal to. And I love it for that. So, perfect edition. I say it's a must-have if you have the Memorial Edition GokaiCellular. And I am very, very happy with how this turned out. So, let me know down in the comments below. Did you pick this up for your collection? Or did you get it just to get the keys? Did you get it to go with the Cellular? Are you going to try to get them both together? Any of that kind of stuff? Anything about it down in the comments below. I like to hear about it. And what did you think of the design choice for this? You know, including Beat and Stag as separate buttons, not including Don Goku when they technically could have. All that kind of stuff. I want to know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below about it. And of course, you guys can check out Memorial Edition reviews for all of the other stuff in this kind of Gokaiger subline here on the channel. I'm buying all of it. It's so much fun. I love it a lot. And that's going to do it. So until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LanyFigPR, and I will see you all later. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Maggot Alchemist, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brandon Overland, Maji Yellow, Redstone MCPC, Comics 1017, James Dartley, Monster Rocket, John Luke, Eric Berry, Tyler Brzezinski, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, and Pyramidas. You can support Tsuiker Topics for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, link in the description below.